Today we'll be doing a video on our Safe at Work module. This application is used for tracking when people are doing high-risk activities and making sure that there is constant reporting on whether they are safe in completing their activity. The activity could be working in an elevator shaft as an example, and the estimated period in which the activity is to take is going to be 15 minutes. If there's no report back on the activity from the person completing the activity, then it'll provide an alert to say that this person hasn't responded back. It's put in place primarily for making sure that people are safe, and if somebody needs to be notified of if somebody's having a heart attack or in trouble, then it can be flagged automatically instead of relying on input from that individual who's in trouble. Also, there is other parts to it from perspective of only tracking people during their rostered period. So there is a rostering mechanism connected to the application as well. And there's configuration as to the different durations that you can have based on the activities that you will be completing. Relies heavily on GPS being enabled for the individual user and for them to be within data range. There is a functionality which we have enabled, which is server-based alerts, which if you start an activity, then it will allow you to still operate, but the server will then react in that I haven't received a connection back again, in order to then notify somebody that they could be in trouble. My team is a list of all of the people that have a user account in the system, and whether or not they are in roster. There's also a map view, as you can see on the right hand side, which will have all of the individuals and their current location. Alerts is your current alerts that are open and any closed alerts. Then any dashboard of data across how many alerts have been reported going off the particular period. That could also be exported as well. So to create a new roster, you would just be adding against the particular day a new roster where you'll be putting standard hours, after hours, extended hours, or the person is on leave. So in this case, we'll just say standard hours. Doesn't really need a name, but standard. So that will now be saying, once this is done, that if the person is logged in, it won't actually track them from a login perspective outside of this time frame. So main reason is that people don't want to be tracked when they are at home sitting on the couch having dinner, only when they are actually completing work-related tasks. Options, you can also have start hours and stop hours as just a default range from 6 to 8, as well as activity groups, which can be configured within here to add new groups, and then on the mobile app, particular thresholds that you may want to set up. So you can set up a third alert mechanism, which is stagnant alerts, which means if you've started an activity and it's not reported movement from that individual person from the accelerometer on the actual device, after a certain amount of time, it will also raise an alert for I haven't detected any movement from the individual person. Activity end reminder is 60 seconds before the end of your activity. You get a warning to say activities due to expire in 60 seconds. The steal period is connected to the stagnant alert, so if there was no movement detected on the device for 480 seconds, then it will raise an alert. The auto dial is if an alert occurs and there's no response after 480 seconds. In this case, it'll call the auto dial number, which could be 000, probably not 000, but somebody internally that may have a call to action connected to closing out that alert. Location services, you can either force cellular or force GPS. So that's also what's connected to that and can be configured from database to database. So that's more the web side of things. I'll flick across to mobile. So on mobile, they'll get a view when they go into the app similar to the below. Like I said, there is no current roster.
Work hours start.
There is a current roster of 7 AM till 5 PM, and that will be what displays on here. So if I log
on,
that will log into the application. It'll also tell you that location and motion monitoring is being tracked on the device, and you will have the option to view the equipment list, any particular forms that you may have from within this view, raise a manual alert if needs be, but once you're starting an activity, you'd select Start Activity, select what you're completing, Lone Worker, lift pit work as an example, and then how long that duration will be. For the sake of this, I will select a option which is a little shorter. So Lone Worker, retrieve object for 2 minutes.
Activity started.
Once it's started, then it will just be completing
Activity expiring soon.
their work. You'll get warnings when the event is soon to be completed. So in this case, it ends in less than a minute. If you wanted to extend the activity, you can press the Extend Activity button, which will then allow you to choose the duration in which you're extending the activity to. Like I said before, you can still access all the shortcut menus from here as well within this area. If I select Alert on here, you can send a alert and it will show the time and where you've been sent it from. But when you hit send on that, it will send an alert and it will also make that phone call to the number that you've got stored in the system. But otherwise, that's a manual alert that's been raised. So that will stay on the device until you've essentially closed it out. So we'll go close alert on that and put the reason as to why it's being closed out. We'll use. Then that's taken you back to the login section. So the activity's expired as well. Also, whilst you're waiting for it to alert, if you've just finished the activity and you've completed your work within the work time, you can just manually hit end activity and it will remove the tracking of this particular event. Also on web, if I go to my team, it will show that I am in an event currently, and that's what the case is. If I go to alerts, that closed alert will come up for the manual one that we closed earlier, and then also as the alert comes up, it'll display in open alerts.
Activity expired.
Alright, so at that point that's expired, so it's just going to tell you that it's expired, and then it will wait for the amount of time that you've got set in the settings before it starts alerting. So if I go back to this, there's no alert currently.
Activity expired.
It's just telling me that the the activity is expired. That's all at this stage. And it's also counting upwards within the screen how long it's been expired for. There's an alert open at the moment, high risk expired, which will display as it is there, and sent a alert to your 5 closest people. So in this case, a alert has been sent to Jonathan Batchel. Also on web, if I refresh this, it will show a open alert connected to that as well, and where it's located. If I click into it, it'll say who it's been sent to for action. Within here, you'll be able to close it out manually if there's been a follow-up. Also, from anywhere in the app, you'll also see there's one open alert, so you can see that there's something going on and that you might want to follow it up. But the idea is the 5 closest people are notified, and you'll be able to make sure that of those 5 people, plus that call to response, checks up on that person who's in trouble. So I'll just manually close this one out, and that's closed that out. So there are 2 of your types. The server-based alert, like I said, I won't go through the example now, is if you've started an activity with connectivity to the device and then lose connectivity, it's not able to report back to the cloud. So that's why I've closed it out on web, but it hasn't refreshed on mobile. So therefore that's why I got an alert or an alarm come up on my device to basically let everyone know that there's potential problems, and to the individual person whose device it is. But that pretty much covers that. So logging off will just close out the particular session, and your location sharing will not be shared during the logout period. And that concludes the Safe at Work demonstration. Thank you for your time. If you need more information on this module, please let us know, and we will get one of our experts to assist.